This has been a challenging year for everyone. No sooner have we started to emerge from the lockdown measures associated with the pandemic than we were hit with a cost of living crisis. Now this is really difficult for everybody, but for children with life-limiting and life-threatening conditions and their families, it's particularly devastating. We know that many of these families are already living in really challenging circumstances in areas of social and economic deprivation. And that's been exacerbated by the cost of living crisis. We know that many families need to run their heating almost all the time in order to keep their children safe and well, whether that's helping them with their long-term ventilation or keeping the house at a regular temperature. Living with a child with a serious illness can bring great joy, but it also puts huge demands on parents and wider family. Recent studies suggest that mothers of seriously ill children are more likely to suffer and struggle with physical and mental illness, such as hypertension, heart disease, and depression. And shockingly, are 50% more likely to die prematurely themselves. Now we know that children's palliative care can make the world of difference to these children and families. And they're supported by some amazing professionals and services in hospital, in children's hospices and in the community. But the reality is many of these services themselves are at breaking point, woefully underfunded and poorly planned at a local level. And that means that in 2023, in one of the most developed nations in the world, the care and support these children and families receive relies very much on where they live in the country. Together for Short Lives exists to end this injustice. We want to see more children and families be able to access 24/7 care and support closer to home, so that they can make the most of every moment they have together, whether that's years, months, or even a matter of hours. Over the last 12 months, Together for Short Lives has begun to reach more of these families, extending our family offer, including our helpline, and also launching a new innovative programme in collaboration with the Rainbow Trust and Kentown Wizard Foundation in Lancashire and South Cumbria to design a new service to bring together health, social care and coordination. And we're working with Morrisons over the next 3 years to reach more families in communities and raise vital funds for children's hospices that support them. This year, Together for Short Lives will be launching its new strategy, which will set some really bold ambitions over the next decade to ensure that all children and families get the support they need, when and where they need it. The strategy will focus on 3 key ambitions. Firstly, we want to improve access to children's palliative care so that no child and family faces their journey alone. Secondly, we want the quality of that care to be as high as it can be and consistent across the country, because we know that high quality children's palliative care makes a world of difference to children and families. And thirdly, we want that care and support to be sustainable so that children and families can rely on it not just today, but into the future too. Now we can only deliver this bold ambition by working in partnership. Professionals and organisations working in the children's palliative care and wider health and care sector, as well as children and families themselves. And of course, our really important partners and supporters who enable us to do this vital work. We simply can't be here for more children and families without the generosity of our supporters, who do so much to ensure that children and families get the support they need. So thank you for everything you've done for Together for Short Lives over the last 12 months. And we look forward to working with you over the next decade to ensure that every child and family can make the most of every moment they have together. Thank you.
Tiffany loved all things Disney and was always dressed up in a pretty dress. Her mother, Stacey, had had a very normal pregnancy, and it was only when Tiffany was born that they realised she had bleeding on her brain. She had very complex needs and needed round-the-clock care.
So I think she was about 3, maybe 4 weeks old when we were told that we didn't expect her to live for very long after they'd done initial tests. I never left her in hospital. I stayed with her every night. Because of her needs, we couldn't sort of have like home leave or anything like that towards like the last 2 years. So yeah, it was literally just us in the cubicle. She passed away September 2020. After she passed, I think that's when it really hit us as a family. Like I just couldn't adjust to life, sort of without her, but also like in the world.
Stacey had first called the Together for Short Lives helpline when Tiffany was 2.
It was just nice to not feel so isolated and know that somebody was there to listen, really. So it's comforting to know that you're not on your own.
As the conversations continued, Stacey was able to meet other parents going through the same thing. She also joined the Together for Short Lives Facebook community and wrote blogs about her experience.
I think it was helpful for me to be able to just write about how I'm feeling and connect with other parents, and I think everybody's sort of in it together, really. Yeah, it's just nice not to feel alone.
The theme for Children's Hospice Week in 2022 was For the Children, highlighting the core purpose of the UK's 54 children's hospices. And this year, we wanted to encourage others to get involved, to learn about and support the work that we do. Throughout the week, we shared some really moving family stories that show how important each individual child is to the amazing local hospices who care for them. It was great to see the public get involved with the conversation. One family described their hospice as their safe place, helping them feel like they were in expert hands to create memories that last a lifetime. For families, the care they receive from hospices is a lifeline, but providing that support is getting harder as children's hospices across England face extreme staff shortages. Research that we carried out with children's hospices in England revealed that over 2/3 of children's hospices reported increased vacancy rates for care and support professionals. Among children's hospices who are experiencing a higher vacancy rate, over half say that this has led them to cutting or stopping short breaks for the families of seriously ill children. We called on the government, the NHS and other partners to urgently assess the gap in the children's palliative care workforce in hospitals, children's hospices and in the community. We asked them to better understand the number of professionals available and the additional numbers needed to ensure families can access sustainable services wherever they live.
In July, we joined parents Claire, Natalie and Kev to officially hand over an open letter to 10 Downing Street. The letter was urging the government to finally end the postcode lottery that surrounds the availability of 24/7 end-of-life care for seriously ill children. Bereaved mum Claire wrote the letter, which was signed by over 1,900 concerned campaigners. Her son George had died in June 2019, 2 weeks before his 6th birthday.
Being at home meant that we were able to keep George with everything that he loves. He was in his own bed, he had his own toys, familiar signs, people were able to visit him. Just being able to relax at home and not have to travel anywhere to a hospice or being in a hospital environment. I was shocked to find out that actually the immaculate care that we got in Warwickshire is not nationwide, and I think that's absolutely unacceptable.
Remarkable organisations like Center Parcs, Gravity Active Entertainment and Hobbycraft have helped us to achieve more for families and children's hospices across the UK. They are the perfect partners to help us achieve our goal of helping families cherish their time together and make memories to last a lifetime. Since 2016, Center Parcs have raised 1.5 million and have gifted over 100 free breaks to families. Our partnership with Gravity Active Entertainment has raised over £100,000 and helped families make memories with exclusive use of their venues. And we are proud to have partnered with Hobbycraft for over 10 years. In that time, Hobbycraft have raised over £2.2 million for children's hospices. That's 88,000 hours of art therapy for children, helping families to spend quality time together and creating precious memories. Hobbycraft's colleagues have contributed to this incredible fundraising amount with over 90 in-store fundraising events, and customers have made all the difference by donating £500,000 through rounding up their pennies at till points. In February 2022, we were delighted to launch a new corporate partnership with the supermarket giant Morrisons. Morrisons stores and sites are twinned with their local children's hospice so that they can see the direct impact of the vital funds raised by their in-store fundraising events. Our partnership has seen the launch of the Making Memories Together grant, allowing children's hospices to bring special experiences to children who are receiving care. And funds raised will also be used to pilot a community outreach project to families from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds who can see a disproportionate number of children living with life-limiting illness. The project will link them with their local hospice and palliative care services.